All right. All right. All right. So I wanted to come on and just do a basic dispatcher conversation because the one that I did upload, it was actually done on a platform, and it has a lot of bells, whistles, ad libs on it. And it was kind of specific to the audience. So those who kind of watch it after won't really get or understand what was going on. So it might seem, I don't know. But when I played it back, I was just kind of like, this was more so for those who were there, because the way that things went after the 30 minutes of information was kind of like an in the moment thing. So I'm not sure how it's going to, really translate. So I wanted to do one, just a quick one, just again, high level overview, just of some things that you should know, or not should know, but would like to know, or just have some information on, and that you can see what happens or what one might teach in a training course. So I'll do it. It'll be really quick, just a little just overview. So welcome to dispatching training. This is what the title of it is. You won't really need to be in a quiet place for this one because it's not a live situation. So I just want to just read over it and just speak on a couple of things, and just so you are able to just see how it looks. So what does a dispatcher do? And I'm just going to pretty much, I don't even really need to do a lot of talking. I'm just going to show you this so you all have an idea, and I'll speak on a little bit what needs to be spoken on at the time. But you can pretty much just take a look at it. What we do: a dispatcher assists carriers in finding loads, booking loads, negotiating with brokers or shippers, and handling carriers' back office paperwork. Again, this is generic. I do more things than that, but that is a starting point. So this just gives you an idea of the position, so to speak. What do you need to start dispatching? Some of these things you do not need right away. Initially, you would need to, depending on where you live. Again, this is going to be high level overview, generic information. But whatever your state requires, if they require you to have a business entity, some just a DBA, whatever your state requires, a load board. But I suggest getting a load board after you take it on a carrier, because it is an expense. And if you aren't generating revenue, you don't really need to get things that you aren't using yet. An EIN, which you'll do that, of course, along with whatever your state says you need to do or need to have to operate in business, Dun and Bradstreet's. Again, all of this will come together, and then you'll decide when you want to get this, but this is just, for your business credit. A computer, I have 2 screens, and then I have my phone. I start out in the morning. I start my morning out on the desktop because I can have more screens open. I can see what's going on. I can look at load boards if I'm using that. I can look at the weather. I can look at Google Maps and see what's going on. I can just check out a lot of things. I can read transportation news. It's just a lot that goes on in the morning that starts my day that I need to check out, and I need the 2 screens so I can really look at a lot of things at once. Once I get my carrier rolling, then I will go over to my phone, because at that point it's just a matter of hearing from my carrier and the broker. I don't too much need to be on the computer once everyone is rolling and has their load and is on the move. So a computer, again, is up to you. There's a lot that we can do on our phones. Again, this is just what I do and how I do it, just my experiences. A printer, again, you can get that at some point. I have a printer because I had a printer already, not because I went and got one when I started doing this. But You do need to keep the information of your carriers or anybody that you take on. You need to keep the information that you have for a year in case your business gets audited. You want to make sure you have everything and all the information on everybody that you had and worked with and monies that you made or whatever the requirements are. A phone, of course, and internet. You still have your phone, but you might need some internet. So this is not an immediate cost. This is just, again, an overview of things. So let's continue. We're going to go into industry terminology. Again, this is not all of the terminology. This is just the more popular ones, the ones that we'll use daily. So we'll go over them just in case there's anybody who hasn't seen them, anybody who doesn't know. You know, just when I got started, I needed, you know, a couple of things and you know, some direction. So I'm doing this so those who are interested, those who are looking into it, they have some sort of starting point or knowing what they need, and then they can go and find them a program. They can go and find them a mentor. Excuse me, whatever it is that they're needing. And you can decide where you want to place your funds, whether it be with me, whether it be with your favorite, but at least this gives you a starting point and can, you know, for informational purposes, kind of be a training for free. So bill of lading, which you'll hear BOL a lot. Some people say BL, but it's a binding contract that serves three main purposes: a receipt for the goods delivered to the transportation provider for shipment, a definition or description of the goods, and evidence of title to the relative goods if negotiable. Backhauls are for the carrier to get back to their house or terminal. So when you send the carrier out, you want to make sure there is something that pays him or her to get back to where they began, whether it be home or wherever their starting point was. Commodity, any goods which are shipped. When you call a broker to see about a load, they're going to use the word commodity. The commodity is just what's being picked up. What is the carrier about to haul? Detention time, penalty fee for delaying the carrier's equipment beyond the allotted time. You detained them, you held them longer than they should have been there, longer than their appointment time or whatever was agreed to. Deadhead, the amount of miles a carrier must drive to pick up a load from the driver's current location. In a nutshell, how far does this carrier, owner, operator, driver, truck driver, whatever you choose to call him, have to drive without making any money? Freight broker, an independent contractor paid to arrange freight transportation. We all will deal with brokers the majority of the time. Freight, any product being transported. Full truckload, which is FTL. Shipments which require the use of a full trailer. Less than truckload. LTL. Palletized palletized shipments which utilize 12 linear feet or less. You'll see, you know, the box trucks carry a lot of LTL. FTL can too, but you want to partialize when you're doing that. You know, get them some money and keep that going. Liftgate, a mechanical device attached to the back of a truck so that a heavy object can be lifted to or from the ground. It is good to have one, but you can't really tell people what to do. You just want to make sure that you know what is what. Again, this is going to just be real basic and generic because I have another one, and again, it was just really spirited, and it was kind of you had to be there, and everybody's not really going to like that one. So I wanted to give the same. This is the same thing. It's just as I have all of the bells and whistles and ad-libs. So lanes. Lanes are broken down into A, B, C, or D. Lanes refer to the most common trucking routes in a state that turns the most amount of profit. Again, I'm not going to get deep into details because we still need to learn. We still have to research, but you will need to know what A lanes are, and you'll get a better understanding and a more definitive direction when you take on a carrier and you find out their needs and what they want to do and where they want to go. And then you will create, find the lanes that's going to work from them, from the directions that they want to go in, and all of those things. Layover time is when a driver is delayed by a shipper or receiver for 1 or more days. So that is a bit more than the detention. This means that they're not just remaining there several more hours but still leaving out, but they are actually having to stay. They're not ready yet. They haven't been loaded yet. They're, whatever causes them to have to not be moving when they should be. So, and they'll have these on. Well, I'm gonna keep going, but you'll know what to do. And if you need to negotiate, you will know how to do that, because you'll have a rapport with your carrier and you'll know what their needs are if that broker doesn't have a situation set, and a price set and what they pay. But you still will negotiate, because if your carrier is going to be delayed and you had something else set up for them, you will do your negotiations according to all of the things that all of the variables that are concerning that situation. Shipper, the party which sends or ships goods in a freight shipment. Where they're picking it up from, that's normally the shipper. Total, truck ordered, not used. This fee is a cancellation charge for ordering a truck, then canceling the order. That is, again, conversations that you will have with the broker. Normally, let me go into rate con and then I can speak how I want to. So rate con, or rate confirmation, which is what you will hear, what you will know, and what is very important, and you need to pay attention to it and read it. So it's an agreement of pay between the freight broker and carrier that is legally binding. You want to make sure that you always read what they say, always, whatever you negotiated over that phone is what you need to see when they send that rate confirmation over. You always want to take a look and see what they have, what they're doing for detention pay, what they're doing for TONU, what they're going to be doing for delays, what they are offering, and then you will work from there. Make sure that what you agree to over the phone, the pricing, is what you're seeing on there. I personally, when I have a conversation with a broker, I am already setting up an email. I am already notating all of that we said in the conversation. So while he's preparing to send me that rate confirmation, I am already preparing to send him a per our phone call email, because I need to begin a paper trail immediately, because that's how we're going to cover ourselves. Excuse me. A high overview. I don't know what's going on with me this evening. High overview of a dispatcher's day. So I just got this clip on here. You will have this is the DAT load board, but you will have whatever methods you use. A typical day starts at 7 a.m. Again, however you run your business, however you get started. I start at 6:45 because I had a box truck for the longest, so I knew that I needed to be on there once those loads started going, because if I did not find my carrier something by 10:30 a.m., it probably was not going to happen with the box truck. And it was also a non-CDL and a new authority. So I had some challenges that made me have to move differently. And again, whatever the situations are in your business, that's how you'll have to work on them accordingly. So I get on the DAT board first, and then I will work my way, because my carrier was one that was willing to do anything because they needed to move. So I would start there. If I didn't have any luck there, starting at 8 o'clock when you're able to call them, then I would move over to whatever resources that I had. I was on Craigslist. I would get out here and pound the pavement and go to different furniture stores, mattress. Hey, are you just local? Where do you have places? And any type of method that I could use to try to generate consistent movement for them. And you will do what you need to do in your businesses to, show that you really want to do what needs to be done to help out your carrier. So always be sure. Oh, let me go back. Always be sure to double check with your carrier that they are ready for the day. before you start scheduling loads, because anything happens overnight. I personally speak to my carrier when we are done that night before, whether they are parking someplace, getting a hotel, whenever we have completed our day. I always ask, are we still on for the next day? And then I ask again, I send a text message or email or a phone call, whatever way your carrier says that they want to be communicated to, you do that and ask if you're still on, if they haven't communicated anything differently, because we all know things happen overnight. So what we agreed to the night before may not be the case that following morning. So once you have confirmed, you get to rolling. So once you have a confirmation, which I just said, that your carrier is ready to go, you'll get on whatever means you're using to get them a load for the day. Once you found it, you're going to call the broker up, ask if the load is available. If the broker, states that the load is available, you'll go into a negotiation if you need to with the broker, if the rate offering isn't what your carrier wants, needs, requires. Just a tidbit, as an independent dispatcher company, the independent dispatcher company is yours. If you are a owner of a dispatching company, you are just the owner of a dispatching company. You do not have loads. You do not, you can't make anyone any money. You cannot do anything but research and find you a carrier, because you have a dispatching business, but you do not become a dispatcher, which is an active action position, until a carrier goes into a contractual agreement with you, a 1099 type situation, that says that he is allowing you to run this for him. You work for him, and this is the task that you're doing for him. I just thought that that was something important to say, because there's a lot of distrust and disdain for dispatchers out here because of all of the deceptive practices that are out here running rampant. So that is something that I feel is important to say. So let me move on, because this is, like I said, it's not going to be long at all. It's going to be brief, high level overview. Just something for you to see, reference if you need. Once you have the broker, once you and the broker have come to an agreement, the broker will send you the carrier packet. Please pay attention to the carrier packet. Although you don't have to read every single word, as you start doing the carrier packets, you will start to familiarize yourself with what you need to look for, things that may be important to your carrier, things that may be deal breakers to your carrier, and just make sure that you're not signing them up and getting them into some kind of position that is not going to be good for them in the long run. So you want to make sure you look over that as well. You will fill out the carrier packet and send it back to the broker. Once the broker has received the carrier packet, they will send over the rate confirmation, whatever you want to call it, with the agreed upon rate, which is what I spoke on earlier when I said make sure that you take a look at it, and everything that you all discussed over that phone is on that rate con. It has to be written. If it is not written, if they don't have what you all agreed to on there, they need to correct that. And you do not do anything until they send you over the new rate confirmation with the updated information. Do not allow them to tell you, oh, okay, I'll write it in. Well, we'll do it later. What is on that rate confirmation is what is going to stick. So if they have not done right by you, if they have not sent the information that you all agreed on, they need to send you a new rate confirmation. If they need to add a line, they need to send you a new one with another line on it. Whatever the differences are, they need to be redone, re-added. A new rate confirmation needs to be sent to you before you do anything. You will need to sign the rate con and send it back to the broker. In your dispatcher agreement that you go into with your carrier, if that's what you all have, and he has given you the power of attorney over that portion of his business, which means that he's saying that I want you to fill out things, I want you to book loads, I want you to call on my behalf. This is the task that you have agreed upon in your dispatcher agreements. Then you go ahead and sign that after you have taken a look at it and make sure that it is the right thing, and you will move forward from there. Once you send that in, when the broker receives the signed rate con back, they will send you over the BOL. I send the BOL to my carrier immediately. When you get the BOL, you will send the carrier the rate con and the BOL. So I keep this information for them as well. But that BOL, they need to have that. That's what they're going to be needing. And we spoke on it, well, we talked about it earlier in the definitions. That's what they need to tell them, all of the things about it. And it needs to be signed in most cases when it's, that's the proof. That's how they're going to get paid. After all the necessary forms and directions have been sent to the carrier will start, on his way, doing what he needs to do, going where he has to go. And the things, like I said, this was just a short presentation. Please remember, everyone's role in the industry is important. With respect, honesty, and integrity, we will always keep the wheels and loads moving across the United States. So I wanted to just do this really quickly so you can, see something and you can have something. It's informational. It's informational. I'm not on here saying that I'm teaching and calling myself a teacher. I'm going to take that just out. But information, there's nothing wrong with giving information. If you all have any questions, any concerns, anything to add, please go ahead and post under this video. We are all here to learn from each other. Hopefully this is something that you can have, that you can look at, and then you can decide what you want to do next. You can decide if you want to pay for a course, who you want to pay. This is pretty much just something where you can see what is going on, and it doesn't, like I said, have all the spirited elements of that other one. And again, that was one of those kind of, you had to be there. Now, if you want to check that one out, that is still fine. The information like this with a few more examples, it's like the first 30 minutes. I am not speaking so professionally. It's real spirited. It's real spirited, and it was one of those, again, kind of, you had to be there. It was the audience, and it was what was going on, and it was what was happening. But again, everybody is not here for all of the extra. So I wanted to make sure that I made something that's real, basic, real to the point. And I will keep, I'll scroll back up and then down once more, because I don't know, what you might need to see. But I wanted to just have something here that's just real calm. All right, so thank you all so much for your time. I hope that this is something that is or has been helpful. And scroll down like this last time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day.